Hey everyone, welcome back to The Creative Spark, your weekly dose of inspiration and storytelling. I'm Mia, and I'm so thrilled to have my good friend Lucas here with us today. Lucas, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me, Mia. It's great to be here.
So Lucas, we've got a really simple yet profound story to unpack today. It's called The Broken Pencil. Have you heard of it?
I have. It's a beautiful little fable, really.
It really is. And it's the perfect jumping off point for our conversation. It's about how we handle setbacks, when something we rely on suddenly breaks. We're going to really dive deep into how this translates to our lives and, importantly, to creative endeavors.
Absolutely. It's a story that, on the surface, seems so small, but the implications are massive.
So let's just dive in, shall we? We're going to start with the core narrative of The Broken Pencil. So the story goes like this. Miriam, she's an artist. She's really passionate about drawing. She's in the middle of sketching a sunset, a really beautiful moment, and then bam, her only pencil snaps, just breaks in half. And she's devastated. She thinks, that's it. My art is ruined.
You can just picture her face. That sinking feeling when something you're counting on just fails.
And she's staring at these two broken pieces. It's like her entire creative world shattered with that pencil.
And it's her only pencil. That detail is so important, isn't it? It's not like she had a whole set to choose from.
Absolutely. That really emphasizes the feeling of being stuck. Like, no backup, no alternative, just brokenness.
It's the feeling of being completely derailed. The tools of her trade are gone.
And then the magic happens. Her little brother, he's just a kid. He sees her distress. He picks up the broken bits, sharpens one of the shorter pieces, and hands it back to her.
And he says, you can still draw. Such a simple statement, but so powerful.
It really is. It's not about fixing the pencil. It's about enabling the artist. He didn't magically put the pencil back together. He adapted what was there.
He saw the potential in what remained, not the deficit of what was lost.
And Miriam, she's probably a little hesitant at first, but she tries it. And she finishes her sketch. And get this, the drawing actually looks better than before.
That's the kicker, isn't it? Not only does she continue, but the outcome is improved. It's not just a workaround, it's an enhancement.
It's like the brokenness forced her to approach it differently, maybe with a finer point or a different pressure. Something shifted that made the final piece even more remarkable. That's what we're calling the broken pencil effect today, I guess.
The broken pencil effect. I like that. It's a tangible representation of resilience. The immediate reaction is despair, but the underlying truth is adaptation and innovation.
Adaptation and innovation. I love that. So the life lesson here is super clear. Even when life breaks something in your hands, there's always another way to keep going. What matters isn't what you lose, but how you use what remains.
It's about the resourcefulness of the human spirit, isn't it? And how sometimes limitations can actually breed creativity.
Okay, so that's the beautiful, simple story. But how does this connect to, say, the film industry or the creative arts in general? Let's bring it back to the input, the broken pencil.
Well, I think in any creative field, and the film industry is a prime example, you're constantly facing unexpected challenges. Think about it. You have a script, you have a vision, and then the lead actor gets sick, or a key piece of equipment breaks, or the weather turns disastrous.
No kidding. I never even thought about that. So it's not just about art supplies. It's about any tool or resource that breaks down.
Precisely. So in the context of a film, let's say you're shooting a scene that absolutely requires a specific, very expensive prop. And on the day of the shoot, that prop is damaged, beyond repair. Your initial reaction might be panic. The scene is ruined. The film is ruined.
My only pencil broke.
But then, drawing from the lesson of the broken pencil, the filmmaker and their team have to ask, what do we have? What can we adapt? How can we still tell this story effectively with what remains?
So they can't get that prop. What's the creative workaround? Maybe they find a similar prop? Or they digitally alter it. Or they change the scene entirely to incorporate the lack of the prop.
Exactly. Or maybe they lean into the imperfection. Think about a character who's supposed to be very meticulous, and suddenly Their environment is chaotic because of this prop issue. It could actually enhance the character's portrayal of being overwhelmed or add an unexpected layer of realism.
Wow. So the setback becomes a feature, not a bug. That's fascinating. It's like when a director, say, has to deal with a limited budget. They can't just throw money at problems.
Right. And that's where the real ingenuity often shines. A classic example is when filmmakers have to work around visual effects limitations. Remember Jurassic Park? They were pushing the boundaries of CGI back then, but they also used a lot of practical effects, puppets, and animatronics. When the CGI wasn't quite there yet, they had to find other ways to make those dinosaurs feel real.
So they weren't just waiting for the perfect technology to appear. They were using what they had to its absolute best, and maybe even creatively compensating for its shortcomings.
Precisely. It's about understanding your constraints and using them as a catalyst. The broken pencil isn't just a metaphor for art supplies. It's about how a director might have to rethink an entire scene because a location falls through, or a specific actor becomes unavailable. They have to improvise, and that improvisation can lead to something entirely new and often better.
That makes so much sense. It's like when you're trying to cook something and you realize you're missing a key ingredient. You don't just give up. You look in your pantry, find something else, and create a whole new dish that turns out to be amazing.
That's a perfect analogy, Mia. And this applies to every stage of filmmaking. Pre-production, you might face funding issues. Production, as we've discussed, with props, weather, actors. And post-production, maybe a crucial editing software crashes and corrupts files. The response is always the same. Adapt.
So to tie it back to the broken pencil, the core takeaway for filmmakers is that when the perfect tool or plan breaks, it's not the end, but an invitation to find a more ingenious solution, which can lead to a more compelling final product.
Exactly. The broken pencil effect in film is about embracing those limitations and allowing them to spark unexpected creativity, ultimately leading to a more authentic and perhaps even more resonant final piece.
That's a brilliant way to put it. Now let's pivot a bit and talk about how this applies to the business world. Specifically, how the broken pencil concept can transform entrepreneurial approaches to innovation. Lucas, what are your thoughts here?
The business world. This is where the broken pencil effect really has teeth. Entrepreneurs are, by nature, often operating with scarce resources. They don't always have the luxury of a fully stocked pencil case, so to speak.
Right. They're usually bootstrapping, trying to make magic out of thin air. So when a big plan or a crucial component fails, it's not just a minor inconvenience. It can be a significant blow.
Precisely. Think about a startup aiming to launch a new app. They've invested months, maybe years, in development, and then, just before launch, they discover a critical, unfixable bug in their core technology. That's the pencil snapping.
Oh, wow. That sounds absolutely terrifying. The amount of work that goes into that, and then to have it broken.
It is. But the broken pencil effect encourages them not to just despair. Instead, it prompts them to ask, what have we learned from this? What aspects of our technology, even in its broken state, still hold value? Can we pivot to a different, perhaps simpler, solution that addresses the core need?
So instead of throwing the whole thing away, they look at the pieces and see what can still be used or what insights can be gained. It's like, okay, this specific coding language didn't work out, but the underlying logic we developed for user interaction is still solid. Can we build something else with that?
Exactly. This leads to what's often called lean innovation or agile development. You're not striving for absolute perfection from the outset. You're building, testing, failing, and adapting rapidly. The broken pencil effect is the mindset that says, failure is not the end. It's a redirection.
I love that framing. Failure as redirection. It takes away so much of the sting. So instead of a business plan being this rigid, unchangeable document, it becomes more fluid, more responsive to what actually happens.
Absolutely. Consider companies that have had to completely rebrand or pivot their entire business model due to market shifts or technological obsolescence. For example, when Blockbuster couldn't adapt to streaming, that was, in a way, their pencil breaking. They didn't adapt what remained, they focused on what was lost.
Mm-hmm. And Netflix, on the other hand, was born from a similar disruption, the shift to digital. They embraced the brokenness of the old model.
Exactly. Or think about a company that's developing a new product. Their initial prototype fails spectacularly in user testing. Instead of scrapping the project, they analyze why it failed. Maybe the interface was too complex, or the functionality wasn't intuitive. They then use those insights to build a tons better time product. They take the broken pieces and reassemble them into something stronger.
It's like they're not just trying to fix the original idea, but fundamentally rethinking the problem, because the first attempt didn't work. It's a whole different approach to problem solving.
It is. This mindset also fosters a culture of experimentation within a company. When employees know that setbacks are seen as opportunities for learning and innovation, they're more likely to take risks, to propose bold ideas, and to not be afraid of failing.
That's huge for innovation. If you're constantly afraid of your pencil snapping, you're probably going to be very timid with your strokes.
Very timid. And often, true breakthroughs come from those bold strokes, from pushing the boundaries. The broken pencil effect encourages this bold experimentation by reframing failure. It's not about the absence of failure. It's about the presence of adaptation and learning through failure.
This is really resonating. So for businesses and entrepreneurs, embracing the broken pencil means viewing obstacles not as dead ends, but as unexpected detours that can lead to more authentic and innovative paths forward, often by using what remains more creatively.
Precisely. It's about cultivating a mindset of resourcefulness and resilience. When your essential tool breaks, you don't mourn its loss indefinitely. You pick up the pieces, assess what's left, and find a new, often more insightful way to continue creating and innovating.
That's incredibly powerful. It's not just about art or film or business. It's about life itself, right? Let's bring this all together, Lucas, and talk about the broader personal implications of the broken pencil effect. How can we as individuals truly internalize this lesson?
This is where it gets personal. We all have our pencils. They can be relationships, careers, health, or even deeply held beliefs about ourselves or the world. And inevitably, these things break or change or fail us in some way.
Mm-hmm. And the instinct is to feel like everything is over. Like Miriam, thinking her art is ruined. That feeling of being completely stuck and unable to move forward.
Exactly. But the broken pencil effect teaches us to pause, to not immediately succumb to the despair. It encourages us to look at the pieces, to acknowledge the pain of what's broken, but then to shift our focus. What is still intact? What strengths do I still possess? What lessons can I learn from this breakdown?
So it's about reframing our internal narrative. Instead of, this is a catastrophe, it becomes, this is a challenge, and I have resources to navigate it. It's a subtle but massive shift in perspective.
It is, and it's about accepting imperfection. Miriam's broken pencil didn't produce a flawed drawing. It produced a different drawing, one that was, in fact, enhanced. We often strive for this idealized version of success or a perfect life. But life is messy. It's in that messiness, in those imperfections, that we often find our most profound growth.
That's so true. We're so afraid of not being perfect, of messing up. But maybe those messy moments, those times when our own pencil breaks, are actually where we become most authentically ourselves. Like the artist finding a new technique with the shorter piece.
Absolutely. It's about embracing that vulnerability. When a relationship ends, it feels like a part of you has broken. But that pain can lead you to a deeper understanding of yourself, what you need, and what you can offer. You emerge from it, perhaps with a different perspective, but also potentially stronger and more self-aware.
It's like the little brother handing back the sharpened piece. It's a gesture of support, of reminding Miriam of her own agency, her own ability to create. We need to be that little brother for ourselves sometimes, right? Reminding ourselves we can still draw, even with broken tools.
That's a beautiful way to put it, Mia. We need to cultivate that inner voice of encouragement and resourcefulness. And it's also about recognizing that limitations can foster unexpected beauty. Sometimes, having fewer options forces us to be more creative, to use our imagination in ways we wouldn't have otherwise. It's like a poet being forced to work within a strict sonnet form. It can lead to incredible lyrical power.
So the key takeaway for us personally from the broken pencil is that setbacks and imperfections aren't signs of failure, but rather opportunities to adapt, to discover new strengths, and to create something more authentic and valuable by embracing what remains.
Exactly. It's about cultivating that resilient spirit, the ability to look at a broken pencil and see not an ending, but a new beginning, a different way to create beauty and meaning in our lives.
That wraps up today's episode. Lucas, this has been so insightful. Thank you for walking us through the broken pencil effect and its powerful lessons.
My pleasure, Mia. It's a story that always inspires me.
Me too. And thank you, our listeners, for joining us on The Creative Spark. We hope this conversation ignites your own creativity when faced with life's inevitable broken pencils. Until next time, keep creating.